Okay, so grab a blanket. We're gonna sit on it. So if you have nothing, you could also grab a pillow. And while you do that, I'm going to send Lisa the link to this, if I can figure that out, but feel free to set yourself up, sitting up super tall, cross-legged on your blanket thing. Let me just email this to Lisa. Live emailing on Zoom is hard. And then once you're there, you can close your eyes and just start to breathe and notice yourself sitting up tall. Yeah. Cool. Oh, so we're all getting set up. I'm gonna sit here on this little cushion thing. Then once you're there, we're gonna do one little breath work thing, but just notice how your breath is, notice how you're breathing. Notice if you're breathing out of your nose or your mouth. And we close our eyes here just to reduce the level of distractions that happen when our eyes are open. So as you're breathing, you can just notice what's happening inside instead of outside. We're gonna, since we're doing a lot of back bends today, we'll just take a little moment to go inward because back bends build a lot of heat, build a lot of energy, which is almost to counteract the winter and slow energy that we have when we think of the themes of winter. So take one more deep inhale, just noticing yourself sitting up tall. One more deep exhale. And then you can gently open your eyes, and you're welcome to do this breath work with eyes open, with eyes closed, but you're just gonna find yourself with fists right in front of your chest. And as you inhale through your nose, you're gonna arch your spine and reach your elbows back. And as you exhale, you're gonna round your spine and you're almost gonna fist bump your arms or fist bump your hands together. So you can just take an inhale through the nose, exhale out the nose. Lips can stay close together. It's almost like you're partying, but imagine that you're cracking open a shell as you're breathing and see how fast you can go. So if you've done Kapalabhati breath work before, it should be slightly similar, though not as pungent through breathing out the nose because you're still emphasizing the inhale and the exhale here. But as you go, just inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, and see how fast you can go. Imagine that you're breaking open a shell or like a turtle shell as you bring your elbows back. Yep. And go as big as you can. Really try to make the movement in arcs, still following your inhale and exhale. And take this for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reach up your hands, hook your thumbs overhead. Hold your breath, inhale. Take 3 more sips through the mouth. So if you're sipping air through a straw, hold your breath still. And then as you exhale, imagine that you're popping a champagne bottle and just let your arms fall down by your side. Noticing your breath again. Letting your arms go if you haven't already. Cool. Take one more cycle of breath. Noticing if that changed anything at all. And then you'll find yourself rolling over your shins and come into a child's pose on your mat. Cool. So hips will be back towards your heels, arms are straight out in front of you. Forehead can be down on the ground, knees are as wide as your mat. And just begin to rock your forehead right to left. And one thing that I want us to think about here as we're breathing is you can imagine that the breath starts from the base of your spine. As you inhale, it comes up and over all the way to your fingertips. And then as you exhale, it just goes down through the floor and then comes back and meets the top of the feet. So we're taking a really big cycle, circular breath, or imagining that the breath is going in a circle. Because when we do back bends, it's almost like we're making half a circle. The archetype of a back bend is half a circle, a rainbow type thing, super long arch. So just keep noticing that as you're breathing. Noticing how it's going. And what we want to do in our back bends is just create more space. And create a big arc of our breath and our body. So we take up as much space as we can and are as mobile and agile as we can be. Take one more cycle of breath here. And as you inhale, you're going to lift up onto your fingertips as if you have oranges underneath your hands, and then walk your hands up and over to the right so that they're at like 2 o'clock if you were making a clock with your arms. Nice, Anna. Hips stay back. Breathing into the left armpit. Forehead can come back down on the ground if that feels good. One more breath. And slowly begin to walk yourself back through center and all the way up and over to the left. Hips press back. Right fingertips arc up a little bit more. Pressing the hips towards the heels evenly. One more breath. And then walk your hands back to center. When you're ready, you can shift yourself up onto all fours. Hands come underneath your shoulders, knees come underneath your hips. And right away, just to keep with the theme of cracking open the shells of our tight joints and muscles and everything, you're gonna flip your wrists 180 degrees. Find that slight bend in your elbows. And then you'll just begin your cats and cows from here, inhaling as you arch and exhaling as you round. And if 180 degrees is too much, always just go to 90. But we want to create a bunch of space in our joints and our wrists. We'll use them for a lot of things today, so we want them to be able to hold us up. And start to think about here, the back parts of our body are the hard shell-like parts of our body. So when we think of our back, if someone was hitting you in the back, it would not be as bad as if they were hitting you in the stomach, because our backs are harder than our stomachs. I'll continue on with that later. Take this at whatever speed you're going for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to neutral. You can flip your hands back the normal way for a second. And then right away, you're going to flip on top of your hand. So it's just the opposite way, where the back, the hard shell of your hand is now on the ground. Hands are still underneath your shoulders. And then you can take some rocks forward and back here. Noticing how your fingers might like instinctively lift up off the ground. This is opening up the other direction of the wrist and the hard shell of the hand. I feel like I've only done these stretches either when my yoga teacher tells me to or in tennis, so we don't really do them that often. Noticing both the tops of the feet and the backs of the hand pressing down, so you have both back parts of your hands and feet touching the ground. Take one more rock. And then come back to your neutral spine. Hands come back underneath your shoulders. Just for fun, just to take circles, You're gonna walk your hands about a palm print in front of where they are, lift up onto your fingertips, and then you're just gonna take circles with your hips all the way around. Meaning to open up our hips, give them some love, give them some movement. You can let your pelvis come as close to the floor as you want, almost as if you're in an up dog. Head can start circling too, and then circle in the other direction. You could always shake your head out yes and no at any time. Pressing down with the tops of the feet, aka the backs of the feet, which is weird to think about. Since it's the top, it doesn't feel like the back, but it is. Take one more circle to the left. Come back to center. Place your palms down exactly where they are. Tuck your toes, lift your knees, and begin to bring your hips up back into your downward facing dog. Once you're in your dog, just pedal it out. Take whatever movement feels good. Yeah, you can rock forward and back. You can take some rocks right to left. Just take as big of movements as you can. Nice. Yeah, Maddie circling an arm, circle an arm. Try lifting a leg. Just really move it around. And notice where your feet are. Try to find them at hip width distance so you can look at where your hips are. Have your hips and feet be the same width apart. Nice. Take one more cycle of breath of movement. And as you exhale, you're going to bring your body forward and through to a plank pose. Notice if you have to move your hands and your feet. Take one more cycle of breath here, and then bend your knees and stick your butt up again. Finding your more formal dog, pressing down with your hands, lifting up with your butt, letting everything fall down the backs of the legs. One more breath here. On your next inhale, you're just going to step your right foot footprint forward. So we're getting into the back of the right hamstring a little bit more. You can take your rocks right and left, or rock a little bit forward and back. Trying to straighten the right knee if you can, with the left knee being bent. One more inhale, one more exhale, and then step your right foot back to meet your left, and just simply step the left foot forward. Getting into what to us in our lives is the back of the legs, but in Katona Yoga is the front part of your leg, which is a kind of mind-boggling thing to think about. So just notice. One more breath. As you exhale, step your left foot back. And then we're going to take one more plank. You're going to place your knees down, and I think we did this last week. You're just going to take some rocks through your child's pose all the way forward to a lazy up dog, and then you can shake it out a little. And then take this at least 5 or 10 times, just rolling through the spine. Still keeping the tops of the feet down. Really good. Noticing what it's like being on your wrists, using the strength of your wrists, nice using your head, Anna. Everyone take one more, and then make your way back up into your downward facing dog. Inhale, once you're there, lift your right leg up, down dog split, toes face down, left knee slightly bent. Exhale, bring your right foot to your right thumb. Place your back knee down, untuck the back toes. Once you find your form underneath you, reach your arms forward, out and up, and grab opposite elbows. So finding the point of the elbow in the palm of your hand, so the back of your arm is touching the front of your hand. Your mind's gonna be like, what the heck is going on after this? So if you get confused, feel free to just ignore what I'm saying. But press your hips forward. Feel a gentle arc in your back. Right knee is right on top of right ankle. If it's not, move it. Take one more cycle of breath. Reach the arms up. Place the fingertips back down. As you inhale, you're gonna lift your right toes up, come into your runner stretch. Exhale, come back to your low lunge. Inhale, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, come into both legs kind of straight. Exhale, low lunge. And then just keep going with that hamstring stretch, the runner stretch, to your low lunge, to both legs kind of straight, doesn't matter how straight they go. And just take that flow a few more times. Opening up the fronts of the legs. Shocking. Because the soft part of our body is the front. The back part of our body, or the hard part of our body, is the back. And our knees and our quads and our shins are harder than our calves, the backs of the knees, and our hamstrings. So the back of our legs is the front of our legs. That exploding head emoji is probably how some of you feel right now. That's what happened to me the first time I heard it. Take one more round. We'll all meet in our low lunge. Then once you're there, you're gonna tuck the back toes, lift your back knee, and hop your left foot up to meet your right for your first forward fold. Then the knees, find your feet at hip width distance, and then find your left fingertips on the ground in front of your face. As you inhale, you're gonna reach your right arm up. Exhale, swim your right hand over and replace the left. Inhale, lift the left arm up. Exhale, swim the left arm over. And try to make really big arcs as you swim. I'm really close to the wall, so I'm not doing it, but really lengthen yourself as you swim. Widen your feet if your name is Wes, and find your knees more over your toes. Nice. Take one more on the right, one more on the left, then you'll find your hands back down, and you can step yourself back to your downward facing dog. From your down dog, we'll take a little flow. So as you flow, inhale, lift your, inhale, bring your body forward to up dog, and then exhale, downward facing dog, sorry. Take that one more time. Inhaling, rolling your body forward and through to a tuck-toed up dog, and exhale, come back to your downward facing dog. As you inhale, lift your left leg up, down dog split, toes point down, right leg slightly bent. Exhale, step your left foot to your left thumb. Place your back knee down, untuck the toes, find your low lunge, knee on top of ankle, and then reach your arms forward, out and up. Grab for opposite elbow this time. So the different forearm crosses on top, and find the back of your arm pressing into the front of your hand. Elbow point is pressing into the palm of your hand. And as you press into your legs, it allows your torso to reach forward, up, and back. So making a nice little crescent with your upper body. One more cycle of breath. Reach the arms back up, place the fingertips back down. Same flow on this side. Inhale, lift the toes up. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, straighten. Exhale, low lunge. And I know I didn't say this on the other side, but feel free to pause anywhere that you want to pause and spend a little more time. You can always pause in the runner stretch and just rock your hips right and left. You can shake your head out anywhere. You can breathe even slower to make it go slower, or breathe really fast and try to go faster. You are the mediator of your space and time, so you can do whatever you want. Powerful thing. Take one more round. Then we'll all meet in our low lunge. We'll tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and then this time you're just going to step yourself back to your downward facing dog. Inhale, roll your body forward and through if you want to. Exhale, bend the knees, stick the butt up. All meeting in our down dog. Take one deep inhale. And one exhale. And then instead of doing the hamstring thing you did before, you're just going to come on the top or the back of your right foot. So your tops of your toes are going to be touching the ground and you're opening the foot in a different way. So as if you're pointing your foot. Take one more breath. Untuck the toes, have them come back the normal way you would in a dog, and do the same thing on the left side. So just cracking open the shell of both the wrists and the feet and the ankles. One more breath. And come back to your down dog. Inhale, bring your body forward and through to a plank. As you exhale, bring your elbows into your chest, or keep them in line with your chest and lower your body onto the ground. In one line if you can. Once you get to the floor, you can make a palm pillow with your hands underneath your forehead, and then rock your hips from right to left. Yeah, let everything relax here. Notice if you're building heat in your body. Take one deep inhale, one deep exhale. Keep your elbows where they are and just move your hands so that they're perpendicular to your elbows. So it's like you have a goal post or a field goal post, go Bills, on the ground. You're going to place your right cheek on the ground, place your left hand underneath your left shoulder, and then roll your body over to the right. And you can place your left foot right behind you, or just have it lay on top of your right leg. Opening up the front of the shoulder. Yeah. One more cycle of breath. Exhale, come back through center. Give yourself a little wiggle, and then you can turn your left cheek onto the ground. Place your right hand underneath your right shoulder and roll over onto the left side. Giving yourself a little rock. Really opening the front of the pec as you lie on your left side. One more cycle of breath here. Exhale, come back through center. You can bring yourself back to that palm pillow and just rock your hips gently right and left. And notice if you're gripping your butt and ungrip it. Cool. On your next inhale, you're going to find your fingertips as if you have oranges under them again on the ground. Elbows are straightening up tall. Your fingertips are wider than your mat or your shoulders, so you have a little bit more of an obtuse angle from your shoulder to your hand. As you inhale, you're going to lift your chest, neck, and head up, and exhale, undulate the spine back down. Inhale, lift up. Going at your own time and own pace. Exhale, come down. This is really good to give your back bend a little taste of a back bend. Give your back a little taste of a back bend, but it's also super good to open up the shoulders after we've been sitting on computers all week. Cool. The next time you come down, you can once again let that go, find that palm pillow, and just let everything rest on your belly. Let your low back release, ungrip your butt again. Notice if you're gripping your toes or your jaw or your eyebrows, and just let it all relax. Cool. From here, you're going to find your right arm, your left arm, down on the ground in front of you. So it's like you have a super long line on your left side. My right hand is still underneath my forehead. You're going to kick your right foot towards your right butt. You're going to grab your right foot with your right hand. And then as you inhale, you're going to lift your foot up as you kick into your hand. And your left hand can either stay on the ground or it can lift up as well. Trying to keep your right knee in line with your left knee. Take one more cycle of breath. Exhale, bring it back down. Let that go. Take any wiggles and just gently switch sides. So right arm comes straight out long. Kick your left foot into your left butt. Grab for the outer side of your left foot. Kick your foot into your hand, and then choose whether or not to lift the right arm out. It's nice to lift it up and out to give you more lengthening, but you don't have to. You can keep it on the ground for a sense of grounding. One more breath. And then place it all back down. Find your palm pillow one last time. Give yourself a little wiggle in your shoulders even. And your low back, rocking your butt from right to left. Next, you're gonna find your elbows right underneath your shoulders, setting up for space pose. So you're pulling your elbows back, as if you're pulling the mat towards you. Shoulders are down and back, gaze is down and out in front of you. Take one more cycle of breath here. Then you're gonna tuck your right toes, gonna tuck your left toes, and you're gonna lovingly lift up into a forearm plank. Take 5 cycles of breath here. You're welcome. We love a good ab moment. Abs are the key to our beautiful back bends. And after you've finished your 5th breath, you'll press up into one hand, press up into the other. You're in a normal plank, and then come into a normal downward facing dog. No rush if you really wanted to breathe a lot longer there. Take a flow. Inhale to up dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. One more cycle of breath. On your next inhale, lift your right leg up, down dog split. Exhale, step your right foot to your right thumb. Place your back knee down, untuck the back toes, and then just lift your torso up. So notice where your legs are. Make sure you feel stable in your legs. Yes, now's the moment to adjust your clothes. Cool. So make sure that your knee's right on top of your ankle, but you can always move this around. You're gonna just hook your left arm up and over your right knee, make a fist with your left hand, and then wrap your right hand around your left. Cool. And as you inhale, you're gonna lengthen. Imagine that the crown of your head is shooting out in front of you, and you'll exhale, twist up towards the ceiling or the sky if you happen to be doing this outside. And just breathe here, breathing into this twist, noticing how there's a little back bend in this pose too. You're reaching forward, out, and then a little bit back to stay on the center axis of your body. One more cycle of breath. Cool. Exhale, gently let it go. Come back to center. Place your hands down. Place your left hand down on the palm of your hand. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, and then reach your right arm up to the sky. Similar to what we did in the swims. And you can circle your arm forward, and you can circle it back. Just giving your shoulder a little bit mobility, or you can rock it forward and back and just sway it around. Hips are still square, legs are still in your strong lunge. One more breath. Exhale, swim the right arm over and gently straighten your right leg a little bit. Doesn't need to be super straight. Rock your hips right to left. One more cycle of breath. Bending into the front knee, and step your right foot back to meet your left, coming into your downward facing dog. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Cool. From here, today is a class of me putting all of my favorite things into poses. So you're gonna bend your right knee and kiss your right knee with your left. Have a slight bend in your left knee and stick your butt up to the sky. So we're in this like down dog flamingo thing. And then you're gonna rock your hips and left heel to the left, and then rock it to the right, just to get a little archy with it. Just notice what it's like to be on one foot in your down dog. Take one more breath. Place your right foot down. Inhale, lift the left leg up. Exhale, step your left foot to your left thumb. Place your back knee down, untuck the back toes, lift your torso up, feel stable in your legs, just like we did on the other side. Once you feel stable, hook your right elbow over your left knee, make a fist with your right hand, and then wrap your left hand around your right, pressing down into your leg to twist yourself to the left. Inhale, lengthen out the crown of the head. Exhale, twist and find that slight back bend so you stay centered on your body. Really nice, Anna. Really nice, Maddie. So good. Take one more cycle of breath. Exhale, come back to center. Find your hands down, tuck the back toes at the back knee. Place your right hand strongly down on the ground and lift your left arm up for a more open twist. From here, you can swim your arm forward, back, side to side. Whatever feels good to help open up the left shoulder. And really imagine that you're pulling the left hip back here so that your hips stay square. Keep breathing, following your breath. Right heel is shooting up to the sky. Exhale, swim your left hand down. Gently begin to straighten into the left leg. Rock your hips from right to left. When you're ready, step yourself back to your downward facing dog. Inhale, up dog if you want to, or just stay in your dog. Exhale, down dog. This time, bend the left knee, kiss your left knee into your right, and then rock your right heel to the right and left. And you can try bending or straightening your right knee a little bit more. Just noticing what it's like to rock side to side on one leg in this flamingo thing. One more breath. Place your left foot down. Place your knees as wide as the mat. Big toes touch, come into a child's pose. Trying to immediately come back to that circular breath. Having it start at the base of your spine and roll all the way over back into the ground to the tops of the feet. Knowing that we're building heat, still staying calm. Breathing deeply, take one more cycle of breath. And when you're done, you'll press yourself back up into a downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg up, down dog split. This time, exhale, bend the knee, open the hip, and take some circles with your knee and your ankle. Just to give that knee some love. Slight bend in the left knee still. And then when you're ready, step your right foot to your right thumb. Cool. Place your back knee down, untuck the back toes, press the hips forward, come up on your legs. Making sure that you have form and function in your legs, and then hook your left elbow over your right knee again. Trying the same thing again, just to see what it's like the second time. See if you can really find that connection between your left shoulder and your right knee, and then twist open to the right. Leaning back just a little bit. Pressing down into the top of the back foot. And notice if by pressing down to the top of the back foot, you can almost lift your left knee off the ground because you're so stable in your legs. One more breath. Undo it, come back through center. It's amazing if you fall. And then find your left hand on the ground this time. Keep your back knee down. Inhale, lift the right arm up. And then kick your left foot towards your butt. And then you can move your left arm in whatever way feels comfortable. If you want to just reach back towards your foot, perfect. Otherwise, if you have a little bit more range, you can grab for your left foot and then kick your left foot into your right hand. You can change where your left hand is. You can go back to just a normal lunge. Just opening up the back of the leg. The quad is the back of the leg. Wild. Pressing forward with the hips. Right knees tracking over right toes. Exhale, let it go. Swim the right hand over. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and step your left foot up to meet your right. Really let everything just hang over. That was probably a lot. Let your arms wiggle, let your hands wiggle, let your head shake right and left. Have that slight bend in your knees. So good. Let everything dangle and then grab opposite elbows. Cool. See if you can rock your torso right to left by pulling on the tops of your elbows. I know we're doing back bends, but it's always nice to do another forward fold. And then switch the opposite elbow grip. So opposite elbow, which is Natasha's favorite thing that I say. Yeah, and keep that sway going. So good. One more cycle of breath. Let your arms go. And then gently, gently, gently roll yourself up to stand. Oh, once you get to the top, shake everything out. Let it go. Do whatever feels good. It's our first time standing up on two legs, so notice that. Cool. Then we're gonna do a little bit of a chair sequence, which I think is really good to help us get into our back bend. But it's hard, so I'm sorry. So you're gonna find your feet at hip width distance, which if you're standing and you're unsure, we can always measure it out by turning one set of toes into the other ankle and then turning it back and doing the same thing with the other foot. Then you know you're at hip width distance. So recommend doing that. From there, you're gonna reach your arms up and grab for that opposite elbow thing again, or just opposite elbow. It doesn't matter which one you do. We're gonna do all the sides, so it's all good. Imagine that someone is pressing into your back. If I'm kicking into your back, and you're gonna gently lean back over that person's foot. From there, then you come into your chair. Stick your butt out. Lean your back by pulling back with your elbows. Keeping your legs where they are, you're just gonna bring your torso forward, forward, forward until you're in a flat back. And then when you can't take it anymore, you're just gonna let everything go and hang over your legs. Take a moment to dangle. And then grab the opposite elbow thing that you have. From here, bend the knees down, get ready to come into your chair pose. Reach your elbows out until it's enough to lift you up. You're still in your chair pose, Bend your knees, stick your butt out, lift your elbows up and back, and then straighten your legs and let it go. Whew. Okay, other side. So whichever one elbow grip you did coming down, just do the opposite this time. Grab for opposite elbows. Imagine someone's pulling up your elbows and just a little bit back. Bend your knees into your chair pose. Whew, someone's punching you in the back to create this little arch. And then gesture upper body, flat back. And then hang over your legs whenever you're ready. Seeing how long you can stay is a really nice extension of effort. One more breath here and then grab for whichever elbow grip you didn't do. And then get ready. Bend into your knees, come into your chair pose, flat back, flat back, flat back. Someone's pulling out on your elbows, reaching your torso up. Knees are still bent, my quads are shaking. I hope yours are too. One more cycle of breath. Exhale, stand up, let it go, shake it out. Imagine doing that for 10 to 15 minutes. You're welcome. I'm not going to make you do that, but my teachers sometimes do, and it's very sad. Okay, I don't know where we were on our mats, but we can come to the back of our mat just for fun now. And then stand on your 2 feet. Close your eyes. Let everything just drop. Noticing how your body feels after that. Doesn't matter what you feel, just notice. As you inhale, lift your arms up, press palms together overhead. Exhale, forward fold, and then walk yourself back out into your downward facing dog. You can take an up dog and a down dog if that's something your body's craving. Once we're back in our down dog, lift your left leg up and then bend the knee, open up the hip. Take some circles with your ankle and your knee. Both hands are pressing down evenly into the ground. And then you breathe out the next time. Step your left foot to your left thumb. Place your back knee down, untuck the back toes, bring your torso up. You have that wonderful 90-degree angle with your front leg. And then hook your right elbow over your left knee. Make a fist, wrap your top hand around it, lengthen out, and then twist and slight back bend. Cool. Breathing, imagining you're lengthening. Exhale, you can even try to look up towards the sky, really completing the twist and the arc. One more cycle of breath. And then you're going to place your hands back down. Right hand comes down solidly onto the ground. Left arm can come up. Then you're going to kick your right foot towards your butt. You can either just reach back for it, doesn't matter if you touch it, or you can grab for it and then kick your right foot into your left hand. Shoulders roll down and back. Notice if your shoulders are climbing to your ears. And then you can gaze up at the sky. Pressing the hips forward, knees tracking over toes. Your arm can also just reach back behind you if you don't want to lift the foot up. One more breath. Exhale, swim the left hand down, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and hop your right foot up to meet your left. Don't worry, we're not going to do that evil chair thing again. Just hang over your legs. Find your hands interlaced at the base of your spine and then reach your hands up and over. Once again, opening up the shoulders. Nice. Bring your hands back to the base of your spine, gently switch the grip, and then do the same thing. Just so we can try to open up symmetrically. Our bodies are not symmetrical. However, taking a few more breaths here, you can even think of that same circular motion of the breath coming down the back, falling to the ground, reaching your feet, and then coming up the legs. Take one more cycle of breath. And then let the arms go. Gentle wiggle. And then step yourself back to your downward facing dog. Cool. On your next inhale, take a float if you want to. Otherwise, we'll meet in our dog. Inhale, bring your body forward and through to a plank pose. Same thing, wrap the elbows in and lower your body all the way onto the ground, untucking the toes. Find that palm pillow for your forehead. And this time, we're going to get right into it. So you're going to kick both feet towards your butt. Try to keep your knees together this whole time. And then you can just grab for both feet with your hands. And if this feels like too much, you can just do the one-sided thing. We'll only do this like once or twice. So just lift up the right foot or lift up the left foot. You don't need to do both. But as you inhale, you're going to kick your feet into your hands, and that's going to help lift up your chest, neck, and head as well. But it doesn't matter how high up you go. So just a really nice shoulder opener. The most important thing is the length of the spine. Exhale, come back down. Take one more. You can rock your feet a little right to left. On your next inhale, lift everything back up. Really nice. Yeah. Letting your shoulders come back, extending out the spine. And then exhale, bring yourself back down. Let your legs go, bring your hands back to that palm pillow if you want. And then bring your feet back up as if they're gonna come towards your butt, but then just rock them right and left. So it's like you're sitting on a beach, just hanging out, rocking your feet right and left. Place your feet back down on the ground. Place your hands back underneath your shoulders. Tuck the toes, lift the knees, and come back into your downward facing dog. Cool. On your next inhale, lift your right leg up, bend the knee, open up the hip. Take one breath here. And as you exhale, you'll come into your pigeon pose. Bringing your right knee right behind your right wrist. Now is the time for your wonderful blanket. 100% put it underneath your hips. If you have more props, great. Untuck your back toes if you haven't already. Lift up super high, and then walk your body out long. You can make that palm pillow for your forehead again. Just try to widen your elbows out as much as you can. And if pigeon is not something you want to do, you can already come on your back and just make a figure four shape, which does the exact same thing, just in a different way. And we're coming onto our backs after we do pigeon like this, so we'll just be there earlier. Letting your hips press down. Our hips are a very important part of our back bends. Mobile hips to do anything. As you exhale, imagine you're releasing more and more tension. Take one more cycle of breath here. And slowly begin to walk your hands back up towards your shin. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. No need to move your props, just come back into your downward facing dog. You can take an up dog and a down dog just to rinse it out if you want. When you're ready, lift the left leg and the knee, open the hip. And then find your left knee behind your left wrist. And if you're on your back, you could have wiggled things around and then just come into the figure four on the other side. Cool. Set your hips up on your blanket. Sit yourself up super tall. And then walk yourself out and down. So everything we did today was building, I think, because of how effortful everything is, and back bends are inherently effortful because they use strong parts of our body, although yoga does that too in general. But when we're doing more back bends, we are opening up our chest, lungs, and putting our heart out there a lot more, which requires a lot more effort. Also builds heat. The season associated with heat is summer. Guess what organ is associated with summer? You guessed it, the heart. So, hearts have a whole lot of heat. So back bends related to the heart, related to heat. We do. Okay. Take one more cycle of breath. Walk your hands back up and come into the last down dog of the day. So if there's anything you're craving, do it now. Before you place your knees down, sit to one side and come lie on your back with your feet on the ground and your knees bent facing up towards the sky. So we're going to take 3 variations of what you can do, and you can do this first thing that we do all 3 times. So it's entirely up to you. But to start with the first one, if you only have your blanket, you're gonna roll it up like a burrito. And then you're gonna lift your hips up and just place it on your sacrum. If you've been here before, you know I typically do this with blocks, but I didn't say to grab a block in the beginning. So you have block, you can use that too. But you can get into this now. This is variation 1. Just notice what it's like to have this gentle back bend on your spine. Arms can come out into a cactus shape up overhead, or they can grab opposite elbows overhead, whatever feels good. And if you're already ready to like rest after all of that, this is the option I would choose for the rest of class because I just love a restorative back bend so much. So feel free to ignore me for the rest of class if this is really feeling good. And just breathe. If you would like to come with moi to the next thing, you're going to lift your hips up just enough to remove the blanket. Excuse me. Find your feet a little bit closer to your butt. So if you reach your arms out long, your fingertips can almost touch your heels, or they can. And we're just going to come into a bridge pose. So you're going to lift. I like thinking of lifting my pelvis up and then the rest of my spine up. And then I interlace my hands underneath my spine, press them onto the ground. I like to find my shoulders rolled underneath, and then you're in your bridge pose. Take 3 breaths here, pressing your hips up, using the backs of your legs, your quads to hold you up. There's space between your neck and your chest. And after your 3rd breath, you'll gently release that grip and roll yourself onto the ground. Take that one more time. Inhale, lift the hips up if you're taking the bridge pose, otherwise chill and do whatever you want. And then interlace your hands the weird way and find them underneath you. Hips pressing up to the sky. Finding your breath. Taking those 3 breaths. And then when you're done, you'll uninterlace your hands and roll yourself back down to the ground. Heel toe your feet out so they're as wide as your mat. Find your knees together and just take a nice constructive rest, neutralizing the spine before we do the 3rd thing, which I bet some of you can guess. We're going to try a wheel. If you're not feeling wheel at all, like I said, I would still be in my restorative bridge pose. So you don't need to do this at all. There's no judgment of if you do it or not. It doesn't mean you're good or bad. It just is what you want to do today. So if you're in wheel or want to do wheel or have a wheel practice, if you know what wheel is and you want to get into it on your own, by all means, live your bliss and do that. If you've never done wheel before, you're going to once again find your feet underneath your knees. You're going to find your hands next to your ears, flipping your hands around so that your fingertips are pointing towards the rest of your body. Your elbows are shooting up towards the sky. They're wrapping in towards your face. Once again, you're going to lift I like lifting from the hips first so that I come on top of the crown of my head. And then from there, you're going to lift yourself up with your arms. And this is our peak pose for today. So once you get there, if you want to, if you feel any sort of weird pain or anything, come back down if you tried it. But take 5 breaths here if you're taking it. And then when you're ready to come down, there's no rush in your 5 breaths. You'll just come back down onto the crown of your head, roll out of it, just as if you came down from your bridge pose. Great. I don't love wheel, which says a lot about something. Have to meditate on that a little bit, but if you tried it, good for you. If you didn't, good for you. Come back to your constructive rest. If you're still in your restorative back bend, lift your hips up just enough to remove whatever is underneath you. and come into constructive rest, just so we're all in the same place at the same time. Eyes can definitely come to a close here. Then you're gonna find your burrito rolled blanket. And for Shavasana today, you're just gonna lift yourself up just enough to find the blanket on the top third of your mat. And then you're gonna find your shoulder blades lying on top of your blanket. So you can settle yourself down, get comfy into it. So your shoulders, your upper shoulders will be down on the ground. I like finding my arms out to a T, and then your feet can be bent if you already feel like a lot of sensation of your back creating space, or you can straighten out your legs. And once you get there, just let everything completely go, let everything melt into the ground. Notice if you're holding tension anywhere. Just let it drape over the blanket, giving you the slightest gentle back bend to bring your heart forward. Reaching out into space. Reaching out into your potential. And just really find your breath here. Back bends and forward bends are opposites. I know we did a bunch of forward bending and winter themed stuff last week. And this week, we did a bunch of back bends, which are not really winter themed, but help counteract the potential to be too wintry, too watery. So we had to sprinkle some fire on top to keep us energized throughout winter. It's all about balance and finding a balance between all of the different elements that make up us and Earth. So keep breathing into that, giving yourself a lot of grace for all of the effort that you put into each of the back bends today, because they are hard. It's hard to be vulnerable. It's hard to put ourselves out there all the time. It's hard to put our chest forward. Begin to deepen the breath and bring some wiggles back into your fingers and your toes. Begin to bring that movement up the legs, up the arms, until it's enough to roll you over onto one side, and you'll almost get a little bit of a massage in your armpit, upper arm area, side body on that blanket. Yeah, feel free to rock a little forward and back. And then when you're ready, keeping your gaze soft or your eyes closed, you'll gently come up to the comfortable seat that you started in. Letting your hands come face up on your thighs for a sense of being open and available, ready to reach your potential, which is what the idea of back bends is. Letting your shoulders fall away from your ears. Letting your breath continue to slow down if it's still a little bit speedy from the past hour. We'll bring our hands together to press at the center of our chest, giving yourself a whole lot of gratitude for taking the time out of your day. Gratitude to your mind and body and all that they do for you, especially the magic that happens when they're working together. And we'll give a little gratitude for being able to practice together. Bringing your thumb knuckles up to third eye center in between your eyebrows. And we'll end practice with a final bow. Thank you all so much. Good job.